Welcome to Talkin Business. I'm Joe Catrambone, CEO of the Stewart Martin County Chamber of Commerce, and it's my pleasure today to have one of our latest team members who joined the chamber, about a month ago?
2 months ago.
2 months ago.
Yes, sir.
Time flies.
I know.
Chris Romero. And Chris is working with Career Connect Martin, which in my estimation is probably the most significant thing that, or program that we have sponsored or offered to our members. And I'm going to let Chris tell you why I said that, but let me say this to start it off. When I got to Stewart in 1989, I took a survey of our members. It's about 1,500. We had about 800 responses. And the number one problem that our members had in 89 was they couldn't hire employees. If I took that survey today, it would be the same thing. So we adapted, or have been trying to adapt, to help our members out, and this is our answer. Career Connect is our answer, and I don't know the exact number, but I think it's over 90 people that we have placed in jobs in Martin County through Career Connect.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I didn't want to take the wind out of your sails.
No.
But so if you would, give our viewers an idea of what you do and how you do it and what successes we've had.
Absolutely. Well, Career Connect is not only a free program, but it's also a program that's designed to help out the employer and the employee alike. And I say that because at the end of the day, it's extremely important on both ends to ensure that we're connecting the correct employee with the employer. So that being said, what we do is we network with businesses that are in the area, let them know that we have this program that not only works, but also that helps out kind of vet and weed the constant revolving door that businesses unfortunately go through when it comes to candidates, to ensure that we're getting the right people in there the first time, if not the first time, then typically again around a replacement or somebody like that. Now, we've had very many success stories, including what Joe just acknowledged, over 85 different participants that have gone on to go past step-up services and also become completers of the TEO, Trial Employment Opportunity. And another great thing about that is that these candidates are actually sticking around. It's not just come in and and do a good job and you're there for a couple of months and then it's off to bigger and better things. And not to say that it doesn't, because there is the time where a candidate will participate in the program, go on with the business and do very well, and then end up actually becoming even more successful in that same type of industry or something along those lines. So even if we get to a point where, let's say, participant has not completed the TEO process, let's say an example, they did a part of the services and at one point or another they did not complete the TEO program, but they ended up finding a job or they ended up getting placed somewhere. Again, we look at that as a success because we're giving them the opportunities and the tools and the right resources in order for them to be able to get out there and get gainful employment. That's the goal.
So talk about the experience. Somebody walks in and you end up sitting down with them. They're looking for a job, et cetera, et cetera. Tell the process, what we go through.
Absolutely.
I mean, some people come in, we get a lot of second chance employees.
Yes, sir.
they don't have a resume, they have nothing, they've probably never applied for a job before. So go through the process for us to how it would typically work.
Sure. Let's say a candidate comes in and says, I'm looking for a job. I don't have the typical things that normal, people out there that are looking for employment would have, including resumes, interview skills. I mean, it even gets down to the, point of them being able to dress well or understand that it's important to dress well during an interview because first impressions are very important. So we guide them from start to finish on anything and everything when a candidate will come in as needed. We're very understanding in certain situations that some candidates come in and don't have a vehicle. In that case, we can provide them the resource through Ride United or other programs that we have available that can be helpful and useful. So let's say, for example, in this instance, a candidate walks in, does not have a resume, just got out of jail, and unfortunately, made a mistake, but has paid their dues and wants to get back into society and become part of the workforce again. I have a perfect example. A gentleman named Johnny is a second chance employee and a participant who had made a mistake, but once he got out, he wants to get back to work, has skills in all sorts of different general labor to hands-on using tools type of skills, and we've helped him not only create a resume, we've done mock interviews with him as well. I was able to get him in front of an employer where he did a meet and greet, and it went very well, and the candidate was actually almost chosen if they didn't happen to go with somebody internally. But this candidate is still strong in a lot of different ways where he was actually able to get out there and meet with somebody and feels better about himself even just in that step in the process because he knows that he's in the right direction. It helps him again prevent from going back to areas where we're doing our best to ensure that we keep them away from going back to the streets, so to speak.
Do we, and I really don't know this, and I should, but do we do a follow-up on any of these people, or do we ask the employer to report back to us and let us know how that person is doing?
Yes. We always try to get as much gainful knowledge as we go along in the process, and the sooner we know about certain things, the sooner we can again identify how to coach and help that candidate get back on track. There are a lot of instances where candidates are just unfortunately not doing what they should be doing in order to secure gainful employment, like showing up on time or dressing appropriately, things like that. And when we identify those things early, we can coach and help the participant get a little bit better in the understanding that these things are very important. And more often than not, I would say at minimum 9 out of 10 times, it works out to their benefit and they end up actually becoming more successful as they go along through the program.
I remember, and I'm not sure when it was, but I remember that we placed someone, and it may be before you started, and you might not be able to answer the question. But anyway, we placed them with someone, and it didn't work out. It wasn't that they didn't show up on time, that their skills were, it just didn't work out. And we brought that person back in the fold and placed them somewhere else. Were you involved in that? Do you remember that?
I remember what it was about. I wasn't involved at the time, but I know that it was because again, that positive understanding feedback that we got from the employer to allow us to get that candidate back and coach them in the right direction. So by the time that we were able to send them out to the next place, they were even better on those things that they unfortunately may have been lacking at the time. So yes, absolutely.
And I know you hit on it, you mentioned on it, and I can remember early on in the program, and I know this is before you came on board, that we actually bought a lady a car. We one of our one of our nonprofits. I can't remember, shame on me, which one it was, but they rebuilt this car. That's what they do. And so the nonprofit gave us the car, and we were able to provide this lady with an automobile. Another time, this poor guy came in. He walked from South Florida or South Martin. He walked to the chamber. He didn't have a vehicle.
Marty, or, yeah.
We bought him a bicycle. So, and I know that we've purchased clothing for people, not a full wardrobe, but something that they could go on an interview with.
Correct.
And a lot of people watching this know Gina, and know Gina says it like it is. But I one day this kid walked in, and I don't know why, but I was in the corridor by her office, and the kid's pants were down.
Pass his butt.
Yeah. And she said, the first thing you're going to do is pull your pants up. I said, oh. And I didn't say anything. I went back to my office,
All right.
and I laughed, So it's a learning process for these people. And I used to say to employers, look, a lot of our candidates or our clients are second choice employees. So now we're not going to send you a murderer,
Right.
but we did.
Did you?
I can't say that anymore. We literally had a young man when he was 16 or 17 years old.
Yeah.
He was involved in a gang, and there was someone got killed, and he went to jail for
Accomplice.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I can't say that anymore.
Right.
But it's really it's a really great program, and like I said, leadership. Martin County is the thing I'm most proud of with our chamber. But next to that is this program.
Yes, sir.
Career Connect. It's just phenomenal.
I fell in love with it from the moment I heard about it, from the moment I understood what it was about. It's so amazing in so many ways. And what you were talking about is not even the tip of the iceberg on what's available and the resources that are, capable of being attained. All it takes is somebody to walk in and have a need, and we attack that need. We give them all the capabilities to be able to be better in so many different ways. It really it's driven around the participant and how motivated they really are.
Yeah, we'll write a resume for them.
Yeah.
They sit down with Tim Kinane. They go through a profile.
Yes, sir.
To determine what their personality is, and then that's explained to them. But they probably never even knew anything like that was available.
That is worth its weight in gold.
It
Joe.
truly is. To sit down with Tim and what he has done and does for our program. If we had to pay Tim for his services, we couldn't afford to do the program.
No doubt.
So he's such an integral part of it, and
I 100% agree.
And he loves it. I mean, it's like a passion with him. So.
He does. He gets into it with some of the candidates we have.
Yeah.
I love that, and it told me a lot about even myself. I've taken 100 of those types of personality tests, and I can tell you the DISC profile is
The DISC is the best.
it really is.
Yeah.
It's super top notch and
Yeah.
amazing.
You learn things about yourself that you didn't know before.
Totally. And it's hard to describe. You have to actually take it and get the review to really understand its amazing capabilities of telling you a lot,
Yeah.
that information.
I usually start out by asking people, how did you end up in Martin County? Did you get in Stewart?
I actually live in Okeechobee, and
That's right. I forgot you live in Okeechobee.
before I moved out to Okeechobee, I lived in West Palm Beach Gardens area, and I was a insurance agent for a long time. I'm sure we'll get to that at one point, but I did a lot of insurance, life insurance, health insurance, auto, home, you name it. I sold it. And I lost my passion for that, and I realized that I really wanted to get into something that had to do with helping people. And the first thing that I did was I started doing interviews and going out and meeting with people, and I found a recruiting opportunity with Manpower, and I felt that would be a good opportunity for me to kind of expand away from the insurance side of things and get into the part of actually like finding people jobs. I felt like that was something that was kind of my calling. And
And you had that experience when you came to us. That's why you're so good at what you're doing.
thank you, by the way. And yes, I worked with Manpower in the Martin County area for the last 4.5 years. Um, I've been dealing with businesses in and out, and even the talent pool around Martin County for again 4+ years. So I'm aware of the style, and I'm aware of the capabilities that businesses have with this particular program. And not to, say anything bad about my previous company, because I loved Manpower and I loved working with them 1,000% and the people involved. But it wasn't something that I felt, again, I was doing that I felt in my heart was a passion, which is really inevitably helping people in more ways. So with this program, I feel like I can take a candidate like I would not have been able to in the previous role, and I can help them get to the point where they could be seen a lot more by businesses, rather than you see the resume and then you just flip and put them down on the side. Instead, I can take that person that would have typically and more often than not been passed upon, and I can help them get to where they need to be, so where they're getting, again, more eyeballs and help getting the placement that they're really inevitably looking for.
Let's talk a little bit about your. One of the things, I'm partial to veterans. You're a Marine,
Rah.
rough, and the thing I like about, especially Marines, 'cause, Frank Labudi, who's
I love him.
lieutenant general. I
Yes,
mean,
sir. Inspiration.
yeah. So, but there's a commitment, and there's just it's a different breed of animal by what you've learned through the process of going through the military.
Yes, sir.
Again, especially I'm partial to Marines, but so tell us a little bit about your background. How did you just decide you wanted to get into the military? And you joined the Marines. What drove you to?
I knew, probably since I was 10 or 11, that I wanted to get into the military. I didn't know what branch. Um, I say that because my mom is an Air Force veteran. She is an amazing inspiration, not only to myself, but also my older brother, who ended up going into the Navy at the time. And he's 5 years older than me. So as he got in at 18, I was 13, going on 14 at the time. So it was almost another solidifying reason on why I was going that way. But I still, again, did not know what branch I wanted to go into. Um, I cannot ever put this out of my mind. September 11th of 2001, obviously, was a day that I'll never forget, and can still remember in my mind, being in Port St. Lucie, right off of Gatlin Boulevard. I lived off of Savage Road at the time. And I'm standing in front of my TV, 18 years old, and I knew right then and there I wanted to be a Marine. That moment was, I'm getting chills just thinking about it, a defining moment, not only in my life growing up into becoming a man, but also realizing that I needed to put my country before myself. And I can tell you right now, and I'll never forget this, because of that day, it defined everything about me, who I became as a man, and everything that I love about this country. And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
That's that's great. I know you wouldn't. Uh, but how did you choose Marines? It was just
I wanted the roughest. I wanted the toughest. I wanted
wanna
the.
kill people?
Well, can I say that?
I
Um,
did.
I wanted to. I wanted to defend our freedom. I wanted to get out and get into the fight, and I knew that the quickest way to get into the fight was to go through the elite. And funny enough, uh, I almost got into the Navy, and they did a psych evaluation, and I did not pass that. And the Marine Corps liaison, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the West Palm Beach area or where that little, I guess, little plaza is a mini plaza. You had the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, and the Marines. They
All the
were all
recruiting
right. Yeah, all the
offices?
recruiting offices were right next to each other. So I walked out of the Navy office, and the Marines said, "That's what it was about?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Come on in." And again, it was almost that like signifying moment that I knew again I wanted to be a Marine, and that's why God has his purpose on why I did not get into the Navy at the time. But it was really nothing more than just the simplest of evaluations that just you can answer wrongly if you say yes or no. You know, it is what it is. They actually gave you an acronym before you go in. They said no equals no opportunities. If you say yes, or naval opportunities, excuse me. If you said yes, that means your enlistment stops. So inevitably, I said yes to one of the questions that you are not supposed to say yes to. But it had to do with rules of engagement, and I don't care who says what. You know, if you're in a environment where your life is on the line, it's either you or me, and it ain't gonna be me.
Great attitude.
You know what I mean?
I do. Okay, we're winding down. You got anything we missed that you want to talk about that you might want people to know about?
I want people to know more about this program than what you're actually even getting a chance to hear right now. The best way that you can learn about the program is going on to Career Connect Martin. Um, can I plug
Sure.
the website?
Yeah, absolutely.
Bear with me.
Is it our website?
It is.
Stuart Martin County.
It's through the Chamber of Commerce.
StuartMartinChamber.org.
StuartMartinChamber.org. The Career Connect is on that Stuart Martin Chamber website. Again, I encourage all that want any assistance whatsoever, whether you're a stay-at-home mom getting back into the workforce, if you are one of those second chance employees that's looking to get out of the streets and get into the real workforce and become a productive member of society, or even if you're just somebody who really just doesn't have the skill set or experience or things that are, you know, typically taken by your average candidate, come on in, sit down with me, hang out, let's talk, because I'm more interested in you as a person to get where we want to be in the workforce, on more of a personalized level rather than a business oriented. If you're not what I'm looking for, get out. So yes, please come on by. We're all friendly, and we would love to help you in any way possible.
Thank you. Great.
My pleasure,
great
sir.
Job. Great presentation.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
And